Hi guys, Demonic Angel. Today I am going to do the Chariot. A couple of things of interest real quick. Sometimes when I log on YouTube and I'm looking at the comments people leave me, it shows up as like a notification. But then when I try to click the comment so I can do a reply, the comment's just gone. And I really think it must have to do with the YouTube algorithm. One of my good friends I was talking to, a British gentleman, I think it never showed a bunch of his really awesome, insightful comments. So I just want you guys to be aware that that's happening. My recent friend Alan, he wrote a bunch of responses on some videos that, once again, I would have loved to have for everybody to see, but it's I can't go in and change it or accept it. So this just must be a part on YouTube, and it seems to do it really randomly. So it's not that I don't like you. I'm not deleting your comments. Obviously, unless it's inappropriate, disrespectful, that's not going to be tolerated. But and I have a lot of patience for people, so I would tolerate a lot. But that's a different story. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Now, another thing is that I do get sometimes I get a little swamped with emails, and basically what I usually do is when I have a few minutes and I'm uploading a video, I'm taking a break, I'm waiting for something else to happen, like to go somewhere or whatever, I'll sit down and I'll answer my emails. But I'm not saying hey, I mean, one day I'll get 1K subscribers, and probably by the time that happens, I just wouldn't be able to answer the massive emails. But I'm only halfway kind of there, so email's still the best way to reach me. And I'm going to slowly try to do some live streams. So that's the second real thing of interest, is that later tonight I'm going to try to do a live stream. I did that thing where it's like YouTube approves the software and you wait 24 hours, and we'll see if I can figure it out. But I should be on tonight, unless there's like a problem with the software and I have to spend time fixing it. In any case, I'm going to transition into doing live streams, hopefully doing some podcasts with people, so that's definitely a very near future interest. But today is the Chariot, number 7 of the Major Arcana. So the best way for me to go about this card, because this card is really one of the most in-depth cards, very hard to explain. It's not, I guess some of the other cards are more straightforward, like, you only get so much out of that. This is very rich. So we'll talk about basically the symbolism, and then we'll kind of, do a little bit of insights as I go along. But 7, this is kind of this big association with luck, good luck, fortune, things are going your way, and this is time for that. Now, this is this Chariot guy, and he is, he's got little stars on his canopy, and he's got a crown of stars, like with the green, it could be like olive branch, but this reminds me of the Star card, because this is this guy, and he's wearing it on his crown chakra. So he is not only an emotional man, but we're probably looking at a psychic, empath, somebody with abilities, just a shaman, wise person as well. Anything along those lines, because the stars having to do with the 5 physical senses that are classical, and the 5 elements. But in this case, we're focused on the 5 classical senses. So this guy, he is such a powerful charioteer, a masculine force because he really understands himself through his sensual experiences. So he can relate to others, his subjects, through taking his own experience of his senses. And it really is true. Chances are, if you have ever felt like a loser, if you have ever experienced loss, and you see somebody else experience, that, you perceive, oh, this person is experiencing loss, you can think back and recall that and relate, how did that, in this case sadness, how did it make you feel? It's very detailed. People like this, they usually have very, very detailed memory, okay, that's based off of sensual information. And it makes for this really powerful empathy. I can relate because I recall the way that experience made me feel, and I know that since it's that deep knowledge, since we're all stars, we're all made of stardust, if I've experienced it in this way, it might be a little bit different for you, but it's still the loss, the happiness, the experience itself is through the senses, and everybody has to feel that way. So no matter what, everybody is different, but people are still experiencing these base emotions through their senses. And I think this kind of does remind me in that way. I wanted to mention of the star. Now he's got armor, and he's got a little kind of a square brooch. So this is kind of, hey, this is lucky number 7. You're protected by good fortune. This is your time to shine. And it's not just good luck, because this guy, he goes out in battle. He could just wait at home in the castle and send everybody out, but he's out there with his people, because that's how he's smart, and he knows people because he chooses to interact with them, touch them, feel them, understand what man is, rather than sit at home in his castle. And the square and the armor that have to do with logic, keen logic, masculinity. Obviously, he's, like I mentioned, he's still going out into battle, even though he's on the chariot. So there's enemies. There's people who oppose what you say. If you speak the truth, there's going to be people who are not happy about it, who oppose it. But the armor of protection comes from ideas such as spirit guides, and your own real sense of yourself, and it does protect you. Because if you are really in tune with your senses, like some of my friends who are outdoors people, really in touch with their senses, that's literally saved a few people's lives that I've talked to, where they just, one guy he was out camping, and he told me, well, I had to go back into town, pack up all my stuff. I was out there by myself to get away. But I had to come back because I had this feeling like there was going to be danger and all this stuff. And I couldn't shake that feeling. I tried to, but the feeling built up. The sensory, experience. And it is, the energy is speaking in that way. He mentioned to me that there were no sounds. It's not like there was the usual night sounds of a forest or wooded area. It was the silence was eerie, so he left. Well, it ended up being that there was this weird, basically tweaker guy on the loose, and he was right in that area, and then he went and broke into some other people's campers and seriously injured them. So they did survive, but that guy, if he was there, he would have been the easier target. He's out in the open. So this is just a big part of some of this stuff, is knowing when to listen, and pull that into you and use it in, I guess, literally battle, defending yourself, everything, because that's a part of battle, is the defense. You know, it's not just I've got the sword and I'm engaging, but it's a big focus on defense. And he's got his little hieroglyphs, you know, his magical protection. So this is to me saying that he is a very spiritual man, even though he's a man of the world. That like I say, ranging from his caring about health to, you know, literally practicing honing psychic senses. He protects himself, defends himself regularly. He sits on a stone throne, just like the Emperor, just like the King of Cups. This is this idea of solid masculinity. We have that saying, solid as a rock. I mean, rock, you know, survives millions of years. So I mean, even though the river is flowing in the background here, and the castles are going to crumble and all this stuff, and this guy, he stands out because he is so sure of himself that he's not going to just go with the flow of the river. He'll just be right there in the middle of a river, and the river will, you know, go around him eventually, because this guy is that planet. Most people aren't that, you know, sure of themselves, and usually these kinds of personalities are masculine. This is a very masculine card to me. So that is that kind of stone solid ego crafted through manipulation of the ego and the senses to really have this, you know, stone solid idea of who one is. You know, in the background I mentioned, it's almost like these castles. You know, it's not like the Egyptian pyramids, even though most of us kind of know of chariots from ancient Egypt. These are still just, you know, symbolic of this guy could have stayed. He's clearly a royal person, an important military figure at the least. He could choose to stay at the castle and send everybody else out, but he wants to know what is war like. He needs to engage that experience, and instead of, you know, retreating and just, I mean, what many men would do, just say, everybody go out for me. Not this guy. This is you know, he wants to be part of this excitement, the change. I mean, he really is, you know, he really is able to relate to his subjects, and this gives him a lot of power. I mean, raw, intuitive power. That's this guy. So then, you know, it's kind of harder to see, but, you know, in the foreground on either side of the stone chariot, we have the wheels. They're yellow. This is like the wheel of life, the wheel of fortune, and this is symbolic of also the cycle, saying that this is just a turn of good luck for this young man. He's so young, strong, and powerful that things are going his way. Things are going his way in a large part because he makes them go his way. But there is an association with good luck, a protection from the gods here. That is what that is. That's also what the little symbol on the front is. It also does remind me of those little you know, symbols on the American Red Cross thing. Another, because I forgot the exact name of this thing, but another symbol though of protection, strength. This could even be associated with medical kind of knowledge. I have a few friends who are medical intuitives, and I wasn't like really big into that, you know, at first, or but, you know, I always do keep an open mind. My mind is probably, you know, very open, but there's a few people that I totally believe this on, and I've been able to you know, hone my skills a little bit through Reiki and things like that, because I'm more of a psychic medium that I can channel the pain of the dead, but not specifically you know, remember the exact, like, have that exact knowledge of it. But as I've you know, gone on, and I sort of focus on that a little bit more, when I can feel that the way that people die, if I focus a little bit more on that moment, you know, then I can kind of more and more intuit that pain and interpret exactly what I think, you know, caused the illness and the death. So it's, you know, something that wasn't very fascinating to me, but now it is. And then, you know, just if in the front we have this reminds us of the high priestess. We have the black and white, yin and yang, masculine and feminine. We even have, you know, the black bodied sphinx. You know, he's very masculine looking even. And then the white bodied sphinx, she has boobs. So, I mean, that's a girl. It's the yin and yang. This is saying he might be the commander of this battle, but his strength is through some softness, intuition, that is needed in order to be a complete person. Because the Chariot, he really is a complete person through all these different things that we mentioned. That, I mean, most likely, even though he's young, he's probably been a slave to his senses or suffered greatly because of them. What I mean by that is after a loss, just continuing to experience pain in some kind of sensory way that would feel like a possession. And those kinds of things happen to us as people when we you know, we hold on to pain for too long. We become possessed by it. So he's learned, you know, he knows these dark secrets, and he knows that if he has them, then you have them. And, you know, I'm not implying that everybody is on a same level as far as skeletons in the closet, but there is a theme that even no matter how normal you are, that is definitely, we can't even really stand ourselves. We can't even understand ourselves. Exactly. So it's very hard to do that, but it's a very noble effort. And when we really shine bright like a star, we pull through, and you put all this together to make a you know, individual. It's amazing. And he's still young. It doesn't matter how young, but there's still an element of he's very youthful, wants to fight, but wants to, you know, he wants to be engaged with people in every way that you engage with people. He needs to be close to them. So that's, you know, the last kind of, you know, symbolic here is he holds a wand in his left hand, you know, and there's no reins on the sphinxes. He's not whipping them into going forward. He manipulates them through his mental powers, through his mind. So things just want to flow the way he wants them. He is so sure of himself that other people, his subjects, they are influenced by him. If he decides, hey, we're going to go fight these people next to us, you know, I want their land. Let's just say it's a peaceful time, but he really wants their land. He'll come up with this idea, and he'll sit there, fantasize about it, give it power, and really become what he wants to achieve. And other people will just start believing what he believes. Other forces will line up. If he didn't have enough money to start this war, that money's just going to come in. The universe is lining up with him because he really is that. It's that spark that takes that sureness of oneself along with the luck of the gods. That I really do think that for me that's what this card represents. So that's honestly the Chariot in pretty much this upright position. The reversed, or as I kind of want to, later I've been gravitating towards calling it more of a warning. if I draw a bunch of cards, whatever, and two of the three are reversed, I'm not necessarily going to go off of a reversed or upright meaning, but I'll go off of what I feel is right, and then I might even include the warning. Hey, this is the warning that's in this message, that this is the reminder in this card. You know, upside down, this has got like a rich guy's son, and you know, he just jerks off and drives his fast car. He doesn't care about anybody. He hasn't learned anything about others because he doesn't observe, because he's not in tune with his actual feelings at all. So there really is not a depth to this person. It's very materialistic only, and I would say dependent materialism. That but you know, the warning is, if you line up more of these elements, you know, you defend yourself, you know yourself, you try to observe and relate to people, then we can start to turn this frown upside down and have it all work out. Because there's even upside down, this is power, this is this raw power, but we need to work on these, you know, alignments of being in tune. And even though we say this is a masculine card, if you're a woman, there is this is still, I mean, it still applies to me, applies to you, that you have to, you know yourself for all those same reasons. Because usually when I say man, I mean humans. Yeah, that's just that focus for me. So that's really, I mean, as far as sometimes with other cards, I get a reversed and I can get a really good in-depth interpretation. That's not this. You know, that this is, I should say, this is just very straightforward, instead of a couple of dual meanings or things like that. You just need to have these things lining up. Don't be so shallow that if you are a man, that you shut off your emotions, because they're a powerful way to understand people. The Knight of Cups, you know, the Knight of Wands, those are all these handsome gentlemen in the tarot that they have a lot of lady admirers, and that's because they're in tune with their feelings. So, you know, and then we even reverse with that, we get emotional manipulation. But that comes from the understanding of the emotions. So, you know, that this true attraction comes from a very sureness of oneself. That isn't just to be a cocky, you know, kind of a person, but to really just be who you are. You know, be who you are. And then there's this raw power from that, and it attracts people to you. So that's my take on the Chariot, and you know, hopefully I can get the live stream going. I'm gonna go do a few things around the house, some basic chores, and then hopefully I'll be able to jump on in a few hours. You know, if not, I'll just like update in this video the description what's going on concerning that. Maybe I would have to do it next week if it doesn't work out. Either way, I'll let you guys know, and thanks for tuning in.